All right, we're going to take a look at the tracts at Cedar Gap Hollow South. So this is a drone video that's going to show us some of these properties. And we're going to do this one a little differently than we sometimes do. We're doing it differently so we can kind of pause this drone video and show you the tracts. Down here, we're looking northerly at Cedar Gap Hollow. This is Highway 60 on the south side. Hopefully you can see the pointer. We've enlarged it here for this. Highway 60 over here to the right. This is called Connector Road. You take that north off of Highway 60 to get to Cedar Gap Hollow. Here's the T in the road. You cross over that and it turns to gravel. You'll pass two smaller homes and then you're within Cedar Gap Hollow. So Cedar Gap Hollow South is, well, the south portion of Cedar Gap Hollow. So they're going to be the first tracks you get to. They actually have the best access. Some have creek frontage. Many of them have really amazing views. They all are a mixture of open land and wooded land, and we're going to take a look at those. So this is probably like a late summer video. If you go north, you go to Cedar Gap Hollow. If you go south, that's Highway O, and you're just a mile from the Cedar Gap Conservation Area. So over 400 acres of land that's open to the public for generally hunting and camping and hiking. And I'm not sure about camping, but hunting and hiking. It's pretty nice having that right there, although there are a ton of deer at Cedar Gap Hollow, so you might never want to leave if you're using your property for hunting or recreation. So as we go northerly, let's quickly pull up. There we go. I think we can see that on the screen. So this is the map right, showing the properties. So, oh, it turned into a hand. That's weird. Well, here's Highway 60. Here's the connector road. You can see those little houses. Actually, tracts 1 and 2 are at the very south side. They have a little frontage on what's called Lucky Road. We take the easement road back in, and that's how we get to the bulk of the tracts within Cedar Gap Hollow South. So tracts 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are accessed off this little spur road. This particular video was actually taken right before the road system was improved, and so when you get out there, you'll notice the main easement road is wider. It's been shaped, and the spur road that's barely visible in this video, that's been created, widened, and shaped as well. So good road access to those. Actually, tract 8 is accessible off either one. And then as we continue going north on the main easement road, that's where you'll see 9 through 16 as well. So let's go a little further here. Okay. So as we look down, this, by the way, over to the left, it's called the Little Farm Store, and it's a little farm store where you can get eggs and milk and probably cheese, and they also have, I believe, breakfast and lunch. So it's pretty cool to have that right there. So this video, it just happens to be one we had in the file. It's not specifically of Cedar Gap Hollow South, but we thought it'd be useful to take a look at the area at least, and part of Cedar Gap Hollow South. I'm going to pause it here. So again, here's the easement road coming in. We get into Cedar Gap Hollow. You can't really see tracts 13, 14, 15, 16. They're on the east side, on the right side. And as soon as you get into Cedar Gap Hollow, that other spur road, right about here where my arrow is, that picks up and cuts north. And then this is actually a level ridge. And those few tracks split off there. They've got a tremendous view. You can see they're going to be open by what is the easement road now. When you get out there, there was an existing trail, but you can barely even see that in this video before the road was widened out. But these particular tracks, they've got good access. They slope down as you go away from the ridge road. Most of them have a little private driveway and a site already, which is nice. And you've got just an incredible view because they were opened before there was any logging of the commercial timber done. There was no view whatsoever. Now they've opened that up. You've got this view for miles on some of these tracks. It's gorgeous. We'll probably just let this run for a while. So those are the tracks on the ridge at Cedar Gap Hollow South. As you go north, you're going to have, I believe, tracks 9, 10, 11, and 12. So they border the gravel easement road on their east side, as well as on their west side. And you've got this gravel creek bed that crosses over the west side of those tracts as well. This basically entire road along the west side has been redone, reshaped, and in some instances rerouted. You'll see that when you're out there as well. So we're actually flying past Cedar Gap Hollow South. We're kind of checking out the general area. If you look at some of the meadows around Cedar Gap Hollow, that's one of the many reasons why there are so many deer out here. The deer tend to hang out in those meadows and graze and browse, or whatever they call it. And then in the evenings, or when they need cover, they'll come into this wooded area, and that's where they'll bed down. I mean, we've seen so many deer out here. They've surprised us quite a few times taking videos. The little fawns tend to stay where they are until you practically step on them, because their mom says, "Stay here, don't make any noise." So the bigger deer scatter, and the little fawns just stay there in their little beds, which is pretty cool. Okay, so we're looking at the area, western Wright County, so just fantastic area of the Ozarks for hunting and recreation and building as well. In fact, if you get much closer to Springfield, we're only about 35 miles from Springfield here at Cedar Gap Hollow. You get much closer to Springfield, you start to get into Greene County and Christian County, which have major zoning and property covenants. You need a permit to do just about everything. Here in western Wright County, you can't think of anything that you need a permit to do. You can build your own home or cabin, I mean, all that good stuff without having to pull permits, which is pretty fantastic. Very basic property covenants in Cedar Gap Hollow. It's what we call a homesteader-friendly rural development, which is really cool. You can just kind of do your thing out here. You can check the listing page for specifics on that, but if you've been looking for a place where you can do a shipping container home, or potentially a portable building, or a tiny home, you're not required to have a foundation. There's no minimum square footage size, and you, like we mentioned earlier, here in this area, you don't need permits to build your home as well. So that is really, really unique. Some people just can't get over that, coming from other states and other areas where you need a permit for practically everything. So as we look south now, that's Highway 60 in the distance. I guess we'll just keep backing up and have a look at this. So as we mentioned, when you get out there, you'll see the roads have been widened and improved and shaped. You still definitely want a truck or an SUV for any gravel road or easement road. You get a little extra clearance that way. Four-wheel drive is ideal, but at a minimum, a truck or SUV will give you several extra inches of clearance, which can be necessary on gravel roadway. Whoop. Well, I was hoping we'd zoom in again on Cedar Gap Hollow South. It doesn't look like we're going to. But if you look at Highway 60 here, now we're looking southerly. This is the connector road. So we come in, we pass those two little houses. Now you're in Cedar Gap Hollow South. Whoop, what are we doing? Well, I'm just going to pause it if we look up again. There we go. So we're looking south at Cedar Gap Hollow South. This would be that road that runs along that little ridge for tracks 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Track 9, roughly. Track 10, 11, 12, roughly again. And then on the other side, we've got track 13, 14, 15, and 16. So you can check out the individual listing page for any available tract. There's likely a table somewhere on this listing page toward the top on this video that you're watching on our website, and then I'll have the different tract numbers, their availability. You'll be able to click on those to see full details. I mean, we really try to do the best job we can to get every piece of information we can find into every listing page, including a drone video, a ground video, an intro video similar to this one, except it will be specific for the property you're looking at. All kinds of maps, all kinds of good stuff. We really try to give you all the information we can. We've had numerous people tell us that they've learned more from our listing pages than they ever have walking a property with a realtor or a seller or whatnot. So we're pretty excited about that. Well, there you go. That's the end of our video. If you'd like to give us a little feedback or a comment on if this worked better than our standard drone video, which is usually done in iMovie, so we can narrate it, but we can't move the cursor around and all that stuff. We'd love to have your feedback on this. If you can post a comment or shoot us an email, that'd be great as well. But beautiful, beautiful tracks, very limited number of tracks at Cedar Gap Hollow South. So if you see something you like, or if you have any questions, just please let us know. Oh, by the way, thanks for watching this whole video. It got a little little longer than we expected, and we appreciate your time.